There was a time in the church where we rejoiced about the fact that we are the righteousness of God. There was a time where people were saying, oh, Christians are sinners, we call ourselves sinners, and the gospel came, the light of the gospel dawned on us, and we began to say, oh, we are the righteousness of God. We begin to discover that righteousness has been given as a gift. We begin to celebrate our nature of righteousness. We no longer call ourselves sinners. But in that dispensation, in that era, many people took this thing for granted. They started living ungodly life. They say, oh, yes, I'm the righteousness of God. Even if I lie, even if I steal, even if I fornicate, I am still the righteousness of God. No, God did not give you righteousness for you to live a sinful life. God gave you the gift of righteousness and the nature of righteousness for you to live right. There is more expectation on you. A sinner cannot live right because his nature is a sinful nature. In fact, he has the nature of sin. But a righteous man is expected to live right. So God is giving you the nature of righteousness not for you to keep sinning. God has not given you the gift of righteousness for you to still live in sin. No, He has given you righteousness for you to live right. So I'm calling you this hour that righteousness is not about celebrating that I'm righteous. No, righteousness is walking in the light of the world, living a life that is right before God, not compromising the standard of scriptures, not living a sinful life. So you have the righteousness to live right. You have the nature of righteousness to live right. You have the nature of God to live right. There is no time to compromise. The era of celebrating I am the righteousness of God has passed. Is beyond that. There's a purpose. There's a purpose. We are not saying you are not the righteousness of God. You are. But God gave you His righteousness. God gave you the nature of righteousness for you to live right, not to celebrate sin, not to live in sin. Baby Christians always cry. They fall in sin one way or the other every now and then. But a matured Christian has risen to the point of responsibility and say, Lord, I'm responsible. I'm ready to be used. I'm ready to walk with the scepter of righteousness. I'm ready to bring righteousness to that organization. I'm ready to bring righteousness to that business. I'm ready to bring that righteousness to that nation. I'm ready to bring that righteousness to that ministry. I'm not going to compromise. I'm not going. These are the people God is looking for. Oh, Master, people that say, Lord, I thank you for the nature of righteousness. Thank you, I have the ability to live right. The Bible said in Romans chapter 6, verse 14, it says, sin shall not have dominion over you because you are not under the law, you're under grace. You see, you always, every day, you say, God, I thank you that I'm under grace. I'm under grace and I have the ability. Grace is not a license to sin. That scripture is telling you, sin shall not have dominion over you because you are under grace. Some people think because you're under grace you will sin. He said, no, grace is the reason why you should not sin. Grace is the reason why you should live right. Grace is a strengthener. Karaboskia. Grace is a strengthener. Grace is never a license to sin. If you say you're under grace and you are sinning, you're not under grace. Something is wrong with you. Grace will never encourage you to sin. Grace is a strengthener to live righteous.